Hi, I'm Lanny, and this is Preserving Today, a Greener Postures project. Today I'm going to show you how I make fermented dairy kefir. I'm going to use clean glass canning jars, a wide mouth funnel like the kind used for canning, some kefir grains. Check the video description for more info on where you can get kefir grains. I'll need a fine mesh strainer, preferably plastic or nylon, as metal can be reactive with fermented foods. I use this mini silicone spatula. It's important that the spatula has a soft tip so I don't damage the grains when straining. A quart-sized jar is what I use to make a batch of kefir. A pint-sized jar is what I use when I'm storing my grains between batches. My label says waiting grains because this is my kefir grains hotel that I keep in the fridge when I'm not using them. Pour the kefir and grains into the mesh strainer. I make sure to get every last bit of grains from the jar. It's going to be chunky. Those cottage cheese-looking bits are the kefir grains. That's the healthy, useful bacteria and yeast that makes the kefir. Use the spatula to help move the kefir through the strainer and into the jar. Run the tip of the spatula around the strainer while gently lifting. My goal is to avoid crushing the grains through the strainer. They are soft, and the strainer will act as a cheese grater, and you don't want to ruin the grains. What's left in the strainer are my kefir grains. I only need about a tablespoonful to make a quart jar of kefir. What you see here is more than enough. They reproduce and will continue to do so. So when I have too many, I can split them and make multiple batches of kefir or trade them with my friends. I put the grains into a quart-sized canning jar. This is going to be the fermentation vessel for the new batch of kefir. Kefir ferments at room temperature and will be done between 12 and 24 hours, depending on how warm my home is. The kefir I collect can be labeled and placed in the fridge. I use it for smoothies or just drink it as it is. It can also be used in any recipe that calls for buttermilk. It's tangy and a bit similar to yogurt, but thinner and pourable. I always make sure to label my jar with the contents and date before placing it into the fridge. In the quart-sized jar with my grains, I add the whole cow's milk. Using raw cow's milk or pasteurized milk is fine. I don't use ultra-pasteurized. I've heard it doesn't have enough natural bacteria for the grains to thrive. Just give it a quick stir. Now I cover it with a coffee filter and a rubber band. I could also use a cheesecloth or a towel, something to keep the bugs and debris out, but keep some airflow. I label it with the date and time. I set the kefir on the counter to ferment. I keep it at least 5 feet away from any of my other ferments and let it sit for 12 to 48 hours. When it's done, I will repeat the same process and strain it into a new jar, reserving the grains for the next batch. I could start a new batch right away, or I could store the kefir grains in the fridge in at least 8 ounces of milk. They will keep that way for weeks. Longer than that, I just need to change out the milk for fresh milk. Just do that every couple of weeks and it'll stay fresh. This will keep the kefir grains alive until I'm ready to make a new batch. If you're local and know greener postures, let me know if you'd like some grains and we can work something out. Check in the video description below for more information and links to the items I use in the video. I'm Lanny, and this was Preserving Today, a Greener Postures project. Thanks for watching, and check back for more videos on how I use my kefir in other recipes. Questions? Leave a comment or email me at greenerpostures@pm.me.